Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be able to start this new email update, letting you guys know of all that is going on within our youth ministry. To start off, I want to reiterate the verse of our youth group, which is Ephesians 2:8. It says, "For it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not from yourselves, it is the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast." That's Ephesians 2:8 and 9, but specifically Ephesians 2:8 is the key verse. I love that verse just because it talks about the aspect that we don't necessarily earn our way into heaven, but by having faith in God, the creator of all things, that we then go out and do works. So that way we're not boasting in ourselves for doing these things, but it is God's grace and God's gift to us. And so that is where the name The Loft came from, living on faith today. Now, it also has a parallel meaning just because our youth group meets upstairs at Covenant Fellowship, which is kind of like our loft for the church. And so it has a couple of different plays in there for anyone that had questions on that. A few things that are coming up here in the next few months is, first off, we have our Unplugged Youth Retreat. The cost of this is $130. It is September 10th through the 12th, and it is going to be a great time. As of right now, we have zip lining and laser tag in the woods, on top of a bunch of other games that will happen in between sessions that we're doing that. We'll have a worship time, so it will be a meaningful time where we'll be able to hear Jared Horn as our speaker, delivering the good news that's in the theme of being unplugged and focusing on the aspect of prayer. And then we'll also have a youth band come in named Relentless. They're from Lenore City. I'm so excited to hear them play. They'll also be the same band that will be at Shift. So for some of our sixth graders this year, they will also be able to see them a couple different times. But I'm excited for that. The next thing would be Explosion. Explosion is going to happen in November. It will be November 12th through the 13th. And I'm still seeing where this location will end up being at. In the past, we met at Knoxville First Church. This year, now that we are post-COVID season, some restrictions have changed. We are now going to be looking into other locations of where we're going, not really what we're going to be doing, just because it's Explosion, which, for those that are new to the understanding of what Explosion is, this is a district event that acts kind of like an audition for a big competition at Trevecca Nazarene University called TNT. It's our district for Explosion wise, where you come and the students will either have the opportunity to try out for a sport, they can submit artwork, do different public speaking things like storytelling, impromptu speech. They also have worship aspects where they can sing, play an instrument, duos, choirs, all of the above. And that it's just a wonderful event for our youth to be able to come and bring their talents to. It's also a great time to figure out what interests they have, what things that they might think that they want to try, because it doesn't hurt to come and express the different talents that we have. Now, once we get past that, like I said, it acts kind of like an audition thing. If you make it onto the next round to go compete at TNT, then you represent our district to compete against other districts around our region. And so that's an exciting thing that's coming up. I'm not for sure as well for the cost for that. I do know that it is coming up in November. More details are to come. Some other exciting news is I am on the NYI Council as one of the pastoral representatives, so I should be able to get information pretty quickly in regards to different updates that are happening within our district. I encourage families and parents that have been attending our church for a while to talk to your kids about either baptism if they haven't been baptized, or becoming a member if they're not currently members. Baptism is more of a personal, is an expression, expressing that they are committing to this new life that God has created us. But becoming a member has certain advantages that are coming to it. This year, I want to create a youth council within our church, and they will help nominate NY presidents for the future for our church. This allows them to be able to vote in certain situations, and we can also send them to things like NY convention, and they can go to district assembly and do different things like that where they can vote and be able to get their voices heard, so that way they can push forward and be lights to our future in a sense. And so if you have any questions about any of that, whether it is getting them in for the baptism or future dates for classes, just let me know. In this email, if you look kind of down below to some of the other things that are happening in the month of November and December, everything is going to be as normal. There are a couple of days that we won't meet as a group just because it is the week of the holiday and a lot of people are traveling and going to be out of town. This doesn't mean that if someone doesn't have a place to go that they can't come and hang out with me or that type of thing, but it is going to be a time of family, and that would be November 24th, December 22nd, and December 29th. And so those are the key dates that are on there. Also, Upwards is about to start. We've already opened up registrations, and so if any of your students want to join Upwards and try to do basketball or cheerleading, they can go ahead and register and let me know. Otherwise, they can volunteer for other things as well, such as working the scoreboard. I don't know for sure if we're going to have a concession stand this year, but they potentially help with the concession stand. If they know anything about basketball, they can help ref, on top of a wide variety of things where they can be greeters. I want to, this particular year, focus on the aspect of getting them involved. I want to take it to the next step where it's more than just coming together and bonding with our peers. I feel that we have grown closer in that aspect, but I want to make sure that this year we are really digging into growing closer to Christ. This being said, I also encourage them to continue to look into the future for things like camps, explosion, because I don't want it to just be where we're growing closer in Christ in our church, but we're taking His word and going out and acting as missionaries to those that are around us. And so since that is the case, it is also important to network with those that are around our district. This is not just a ministry aspect, but this is also something that I learned in my business classes. There's a book that says never eat alone, and it's this concept that we are to go out, meet new people, build networks, because you never know when down the road you might be able to refer someone to someone that you trust, or on the opposite end, be able to reach out to someone when you have a favor or something in particular that you need help with. So building bonds, ministering, understanding that we are one united church, even though we have each individual churches in our district, in our region, around the United States. The more that we can connect with each other, the more that we understand that we are not alone, that it is a worldwide thing. And so these are the different things that I am looking forward to. We are getting ready to start a series called Real Relationships. I'm actually recording this right now, Wednesday the 4th, which we have youth group tonight. And so with having youth group tonight, that means that real relationships will start. And so we'll look at different things like dating, family, relationships with others, this whole aspect on top of building a deeper relationship with Him. And then as a follow-up to these relationships, the next series that I want to do, which will be something that I am creating by myself, is this aspect of, I'm going to call it raw. I feel that at times we are afraid to express ourselves. We're afraid to be honest to the feelings that we have. And as I've been going through my pastoral counseling classes and understanding more on the counseling side, A lot of times we hold things in because we fear the aspect of being raw with each other, being raw around our parents, being raw around our friends, because we're worried that we're being judged for what we believe in. And the reality is we're gonna get angry at God sometimes. We're gonna be sad sometimes. We are gonna have all these different emotions, all these different feelings. But the more we continue to go through these feelings, the more that we can grow deeper with Christ. Because unless we have worked through these different emotions, have brought them to light, God cannot work on those particular things for us until we're able to say, you know what, God, I've been angry at you for this reason. And God's like, okay, be angry. But now that you have gotten that anger past, let's work forward. Let's dig deeper and let's continue to build this relationship. To have a fulfilling life with Christ, we have to be able to express the different feelings that we have. And so I think that that next series, Raw, is going to be one of those big things to be able to bring to light different things that we may have been suppressing. My goal is to be able to do these weekly updates to keep you guys in the know. One, through the email, so that way you visually are able to see the different things that are going on top of these videos from me that allow me to express where my mind is at, where my heart is at, and just keep things going. Hopefully, not every video is going to be a 10 to 15 minute video, but you never know. I'm a talker. So thank you guys for tuning in to our weekly emails, and I hope that this is something that will be beneficial to each of our families. Catch you soon.